There's a part of Toronto's Pearson Airport that's reserved for VIPs, a special hangar for arrivals and departures of high-profile guests. And on Friday, if you caught a glimpse of the crowd of sports media, photographers, and fans on that part of the tarmac, you might have figured something spectacular was about to happen.
Flight Tracker identified a plane that might be carrying Ohtani to Toronto.
It could be, Melissa, the biggest sports story to ever touch down in Toronto, if it's true.
But he is en route to Toronto right now.
You could see the plane and the open door, and there was a vehicle pulled up, and things were looking good. But then a man who was clearly not Ohtani got out.
Toronto went from having a star in its sights, potentially signing the Shohei Ohtani, considered one of the best baseball players in the world, and maybe even of all time, to effectively having to say goodbye to something it never really had. Here's how it played out, moment by moment. For weeks, fans, and the entire league, really, were waiting for Shohei Ohtani to make up his mind and sign a contract. The stakes were super high, because wherever he signed, it was sure to be a blockbuster deal.
He's an ultra-rare ace pitcher and super slugger.
He's doing both, and he is excelling at both. We have quite simply never seen that before.
He performs at the top of the league, on the mound and at the plate. No one has done both this well since Babe Ruth, and that's going back almost 100 years. So there was no shortage of speculation about where he'd go.
We may see a $600 million player, and whether that's the Los Angeles Dodgers, the San Francisco Giants.
The Blue Jays have built some momentum.
To me, it's down to the Dodgers and the Jays as the two best options for Shohei.
And when the MLB's so-called winter meetings, where deals are often made, came and went on Friday without a deal for Ohtani, that's when rumors really started to ramp up.
Nothing could get baseball fans amped up in December like rampant rumors about the hottest player on the planet making his way here. Maybe.
Please come to Toronto. They'll be great.
Earlier last week, Ohtani made an impromptu visit to the Blue Jays Player Development Complex in Florida. Many took that as a sign of just how seriously he was considering Toronto.
I've updated the pie chart for Shohei Ohtani. Now we're going to chew on this. I want all of you to weigh in if I'm onto something here. 60% for the Toronto Blue Jays.
And then on Friday, a well-known MLB broadcaster, John Morosi, posted on X, source, Shohei Ohtani's decision is imminent, possibly as early as today, followed by sources, Shohei Ohtani is en route to Toronto today. So the internet runs with Morosi's tweets and starts doing what it does best, searching for clues anywhere and everywhere, eventually pinpointing a private flight traveling midair from Southern California to Toronto. Thousands of people suddenly become armchair air traffic controllers, monitoring the flight's every move as it inches closer and closer to Canada.
So is that Ohtani? Just about to cross over to the Nevada state line? It might be.
Now, we should say there was no real evidence that Ohtani was on that flight, even at the time. But there was a lot of hope and a lot of buzz.
This is an athlete who will transcend regionality. He'll be an impact athlete from every possible aspect of this country.
I think this is going to be the perfect city for him.
And then another viral post on X. Source, Yusei Kikuchi, a pitcher for the Jays, reserves entire upscale sushi restaurant near Rogers Center for tonight. Reservation made for 50+ people. Make of it what you will. But here's the thing. At no point did the Jays themselves shut down any of these rumors. And that made a big difference because many read that silence as evidence this could happen.
This rumor was awful because it wasn't true and no one in the know did anything about it.
A reporter with Dodgers Nation even wrote an article saying he had confirmed the Toronto rumors, according to multiple sources. Reporters, photographers, fans all rushed to Toronto's Pearson Airport, hoping to catch a glimpse of Toronto's newest superstar.
I think the flight was meant to land at around 4:30, and I probably arrived around 4, to sort of just in time.
That's CBC photographer Evan Mitsui. He drove over an hour out to Pearson Airport on Friday to try and help put an end to all of these rumors one way or another.
And there were already other media vehicles there. Sportsnet was there, TSN was there, and some security, which seemed like a good sign, right? Why would you need security if not to protect some high-profile person?
It seemed to Evan like everything was falling into place, and he was about to capture this massive moment for baseball and Toronto.
We saw it, the physical plane, fit the description that everybody was sharing online, and hopped out of the car and jumped over a little soggy ditch and peered under a fence, and sure enough, you could see the plane and the open door, and there was a vehicle pulled up, and things were looking good. But then a man who was clearly not Ohtani got out. I think we were all a bit shocked.
It didn't take long for word to spread, but accepting that truth, that was a different matter.
Now Bob Nightingale is saying that Shohei is not in Toronto.
Who was on the plane that we just tracked?
Ohtani not on a flight to Toronto. I don't believe him, bro.
No.
I can't. How
does MLB?
Everybody in the entire industry
got fooled?
No, that's no, Bob.
We now know the man on that plane was actually Canadian businessman Robert Herjavec, best known as a host on Dragon's Den and Shark Tank. He later poked fun at the whole thing on Instagram, adding, "All joking aside, I'm not Shohei Ohtani, and he was not on my plane today." Turns out Ohtani was at home in California all along. And unfortunately for Toronto fans, California is exactly where he'll stay, likely for at least the next decade.
The Dodgers were the favorite all along, which is what we've always said, because of two things. Geography, number one. Number two, they are the most consistent winning team in Major League Baseball.
Ohtani announced the news of the Dodgers deal himself on Instagram, apologizing for taking so long to come to a decision. It is the richest contract in North American professional sports history. $700 million US over 10 years, and at least $100 million more than expected, far surpassing the last record-breaking sports contract, which was a paltry $450 million for 10 years for Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. And $700 million is a lot of money, but remember, this guy is a huge investment with what will likely pay huge returns for the team and the city.
He has two values, as a ball player and as a marketing entity. I mean, his value as a marketing entity is through the roof.
The sports reporters responsible for those false reports, most notably the en route to Toronto tweet and the deal has been reached with Toronto report, they've since come out and apologized. But for fans, that doesn't take the sting away.
So how big of a gut punch is this to the Toronto fan base?
Massive one, for sure, Corey, because the idea that he would come up and be a Toronto Blue Jay was going to change everything.
So, is all hope lost for the Blue Jays? Well, it is only December. Plenty of time to fill in that Ohtani-shaped hole.